it's your girl Simone or whatever, and today I'm going to be doing another story time, and I don't really know exactly what to call this. I don't know if I want to call it Omegle horror story or the time I dated a drug dealer, the time I dated a crackhead. Worst white boy experience. I feel like that wasn't the worst white boy experience. I have some bad experiences with white boys, but I still love me some white boy. This story is going to be a crazy one, so I'm going to try to stay as on topic and in line as I can because it was so long ago to me, and it's so blurry because I was just so over the situation. Like, I didn't care as much about this person. Sounds messed up, but it doesn't once I tell the story. Like, I just didn't care as much, so it's hard for me to remember as much because it just wasn't on my mind as much after, you know what I mean? But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, y'all, so a long time ago, I want to say this was about a year ago, if not longer. I don't know, like almost a year and a half ago. I don't know, but a while ago. Okay, I used to go live on Omegle. If you follow me on TikTok, you know that I used to go live on Omegle a lot and like meet new people, talk to people, whatever. I was live on TikTok going through Omegle and I came across this guy. And it was actually his friend who was on Omegle, but he saw me in the camera, and so he popped in and was like, "You're so cute, like, hold on, your smile, like, blah, 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 I need to get to know you, blah, blah, blah," like, all this stuff, right? And he was cute, like, he was cute to me, so I was like, okay, like, oh my God, stop, like, but he was cute, so I was like, okay. So we started talking on Omegle, whatever, but there's only so long you could talk to somebody on Omegle. Like, I didn't want to sit there and talk to him for the whole time, and I was on live, so I wanted to meet new people. So we had talked for a minute, and then I gave him my Instagram, and I kept it pushing, okay? So on the live, everyone was so excited about him. Like, everybody was like, oh my God, you guys would be cute, blah, blah, blah. Like, I like him, like, all this stuff, right? And so it was, like, already, like, an internet thing. Like, I couldn't keep him a secret. Like, it was already out there, you know what I mean? And so after I got off live, he had DM'd me. And so I think he might have been watching my live, and then as soon as I got off live, he like called me on Instagram DMs. Can Instagram take that off? I don't need nobody FaceTiming me through Instagram. I don't. So he FaceTimes me through Instagram, and I answer, and we're like talking, like whatever. I'm like on FaceTime with my friend because I was scared to talk to him by myself. So I'm on FaceTime with my friend, and I'm also talking to him, but he don't know that I'm on FaceTime with my friend. Do y'all do that, or is it just me? I was like scared to talk to him, so I told my friend like, stay on the phone with me while I talk to him. And so I'm talking to him. First day we're talking, it's cool, like he's cool, whatever. All of a sudden, when I tell y'all, I've told y'all this before. I'm not trying to hype myself up. Like, this isn't a flex. Like, this is a form of love bombing. Like, this is a red flag. I don't know what it is, why guys always want to do that shit to me. But he was like, oh, like, you need to start looking for a ring. Like, for real, like, you need to look for a ring. And I was just like, that's funny. Like, and he was like, no, like, for real, like, what kind of rings you like? Like, what shape? Like, what color would you get? Like, asking me all these questions about rings. Why are you asking me about that? Why are you asking me? I don't want a ring from you, silly goosey. I don't want one. But I was just like, oh, ha, ha, ha. Like, anyway. So that happened. Red flag number one. Red flag number one. We gonna list out the red flags, okay? Because the amount of red flags, like, I was stupid. I was bad. This was my fault. Okay, I was the problem for myself because I should have never let it get past that, honestly. And I let it get too far. And there's going to be a lot of times where you guys are going to judge me throughout this story. And I know, trust me, I know it was stupid. I know, okay? There's going to be a lot of times, and I need y'all to just know that I've grown, I've learned, and I've done better, okay? Okay. One day, we, like, finally actually FaceTimed, and, like, he FaceTimed me on my phone, and we literally talked for, like, 12 hours straight. It was cool. Like, we was having good conversation. We clicked, like, just like I don't know, we just always had something to talk about, and we were always so like communicative, and we really didn't have many arguments, but we just like really always had something to talk about. Like, and we were always on the phone. Like, we should have ran out of stuff to talk about, but we never did. Like, it was always cool, you know? Oh, mind you, he was 22 turning 23, and I was 18 turning 19, like in a couple months, and our birthdays were close. Like, I'm a Taurus, he was a Taurus too. So yeah, he was way older than me, and so that was the thing that I was like, red flag number two. You're 22, about to be 23. What you want with an 18-year-old? And I know it's gonna be some people in the comments like, yeah, but once you're 18, like, it really doesn't matter. Like, that's not that far. No, baby, he wanted to take advantage of me. Like, he really wanted to manipulate me. Like, he knew that an 18-year-old doesn't think as good as a 22-year-old. He thought, okay? And I would tell him that, like, I would really tell him, like, what do you want with an 18-year-old? Like, why do you want to be with an 18-year-old? Why do you want to be with me? I'm 18. Like, I'm a kid. You're a grown man. Like, and he would just be like, no, like, honestly, you're so smart. Like, I genuinely, like, I like you. I mess with you. And I'd be like, okay, like, whatever. So we have been on the phone for like hours, right? It was good conversation, y'all, like so good. Like, I don't even remember exactly what we were talking about, but we were constantly just talking. I did not sleep. Mind you, I had studio the next day. Like, I shouldn't have did that. Like, girl, go to sleep. You got to go to the studio. But I was so like excited to talk to him and just really have that connection, because he was one of the first guys that I had like really had that connection to after my last relationship. So I was like, oh my God, like, this is cool. Like, I'm finally like, cause you know, when you get out of a relationship, you think like, oh, I'm never gonna connect with anyone like that. And just like, and so when I met him and I was talking to him, I was like, oh, like, I connect with him more than my last relationship. Like, I never had conversations as deep and as good with that last person as I did with him. So it was just like so exciting to me. And so we have been like talking so much, and in the conversation, you know, he's a white boy, mind you. He's a white boy. I told y'all that, I think. He's a white boy. So we got on the topic of like race and stuff like that. I don't know how we got on the topic. I'm pretty sure he brought it up. I don't know. But we started talking about it. It's like, I don't even want to tell you this story because I know y'all finna judge me, but it was just like, I didn't catch it. I caught it, but I was like, okay. So we're talking, we get into race, and I think we're talking about how, like, racial slurs, you know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, you know, I hate when people, you know, do that, and, you know, they be saying the N-word. He said the N-word both ways. He was like, you know, like, we was talking about it. We was like, you know, when they say the N-word, like, and he was like, yeah, when they say the N-word, like, when they say or like, he said it. And I stopped because it wasn't necessary. I know what it is. I know what the word is. I know what the words are. I know what it is. I know what they be saying. Like, why'd you have to say it? I was like, I literally was like, yeah, you know, and like, people just, you know, just be saying the N-word nowadays, like, and they don't even be black. And he was like, yeah, you know, yeah, like, I hate when they say that. Like, they be saying, and I was just like, I stopped, like, red flag number what? 3? Are we on 3? This is why I didn't catch it fully and did, because he was talking about how it was so wrong. Like, he was like, yeah, no, I hate when they say, like, it's so unfair. And like, he was going into it, like, he was telling me facts about like my culture and stuff that, yeah, I knew about, but it was just like, he was so educated on it. Like, seriously, y'all, he was so educated on not even just the words and why it shouldn't be used, but just like, just facts, biological facts, and just like all these things. Like, he was telling me about it, and he was so right, like, about it, you know what I mean? It was nothing bad. Like, he was saying all good things. And then he said those 2 things, and I was just like, he didn't need to say it. You know what I mean? So it was just like, it was like a little like kick in the butt. I was like, ooh. You know, like, so I didn't know. I just like kind of just like was like, okay, like, that was weird, but I just let it go, you know, because he was saying how it wasn't. I don't know. I should have dipped. We kept talking throughout the night, and then the next day, like, literally stayed on FaceTime with him while I was driving to the studio. The studio was like an hour away from me, and like we were just talking, and it was cool, you know? And so I was at the studio and everything, and mind you, he was long distance. Like, he lived in New Jersey, so he was really long distance, and he lived with his mom and his brother, and his his brother was my age. Like, honestly, his brother was cuter than him too. Like, his brother was cuter than him, and his brother like, I should have been with his brother is what I'm saying. Like, I should have talked to his brother, but it's cool. Like, it's cool, whatever. We would FaceTime all the time. I had, like, met his mom, and his mom was hella cool. Like, his mom was from Jersey, so she was very, like, loud with that strong accent. Like, when you think of a lady from New Jersey, like, that was her. You know what I mean? And she was cool. She was funny. Like, we would talk all the time. Like, it would just be me and her talking. Like, she was cool. And me and his brother was cool. Like, it was whatever. And everything was super cool. And he would always talk about how, because he lives with his mom, like, and so he would always talk about how, you know, he was the main provider of the house. Like, you know, he did stocks, and he was really good at it, apparently. And he was always doing stocks. Like, I kind of do believe him that he was kind of good at it, because every morning he would wake up and do stocks. Before he would go to bed, he would do stocks. Like, he was constantly on it, like doing something, like on it, you know what I mean? And would show me all the lines and stuff. I don't know how that works, but like, I think he was really doing it. But he would always like say like, oh yeah, you know, I provide for my family. Like, I stayed living here because, you know, my mom is kind of crazy. Like, and I don't want my brother to just grow up having to stay with her. You know, I don't want to leave him. So I provide for the family. I just stay here just because, you know, I want to stay here for my brother and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, like, or you and your brother could just move out. Like, if you providing for all three of them, why? And it's because you don't want your brother to be in that toxic environment. Why don't you and your brother just move out? Your brother's 18. Like, I'm not saying that his brother got to move out by himself. Like, you get you and your brother an apartment. Like, you could live with your brother. Like, you know what I mean? But whatever. And then also, like, he would show me, like, bags of, like, tree. Like, that he would sell. Like, bags, y'all. Like, bags. So, like, I would see that. Like, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. He smoked a lot. Like, he smoked a lot. He was always high. Like, I don't think I ever talked to him sober. And it was like he smoked so much that he didn't even seem high. Like, he seemed sober. Like, but at the same time, have I ever even seen him sober? Like, you know what I mean? He didn't seem high. Also, like, I didn't smoke. So, like, I didn't know what it meant to how people really acted when they were high. I mean, you know how someone looks when they're high, but I feel like I never saw him not high. And I also didn't know much about that. So it's like, I didn't really know how bad it was that he was always smoking. Like, he was always high, like, always. There was never a moment all throughout the day he was smoking and, like, coughing so much. And, like, it was just a lot. And, like, that's another red flag. He showed me one day, like, a bag of, like, tree that he was, like, selling. And I was just like, like, okay. He would show me, like, all this money he was making all the time. And so the reason I'm saying this is because it was like, is it from your stocks or is it from you selling tree? Like, I didn't know. And then it's like, are you even actually making this much money? Because you still live at your mama's house and you don't even got a car. Like, your car is, like, all the way messed up. Like, he was, like, redoing his car. And he did end up redoing it. But it was just like, if you got all this money, why you didn't also buy just another car? Like, he would talk about how he wanted to buy a Hellcat and, like, all this stuff. But, like, he was never doing it. You know what I mean? So it was just like, it seems like you're lying. And it's very easy to lie about your life and who you are and, like, what you have when it's long distance too. Like, we're not in the same state. Like, it's easy for you to lie. You know what I mean? And so we continued to talk. Like, everything was cool. One thing I loved about him, he had this long, like, loose curls. His hair was, like, pretty long. And he had, like, a really thick beard. Like, he looked like Aquaman, honestly. Like, He had a really thick beard and like long curly hair, green eyes. Like, he was so cute. But one day he tells me he's going on a trip with his friends, and so he wanted to like get his hair cut and like get his beard, you know, trimmed down, whatever. And I'm like, okay, like I didn't want him to cut his beard because I like a beard. Like, I was like, your beard looks good, like leave it, but like whatever. I thought the braids would look good, like the cornrows, whatever. He had showed me, he got them before, and like I thought it would be cute, so I was like, yeah, get that, but like leave your beard, like, you know. He didn't want to do it. He gets his braids done and he gets home and he's like packing to go on this trip. And I see him, he got a do-rag on. And I'm like, okay, I get it if like, okay, you got braids, you're wearing a do-rag. I get it if you wear it to sleep. Like, yeah, don't mess up your braids. You just paid for this. You got your hair cut. You got your braids done. Wear the do-rag to bed. Like, I get that. Like, 100%. It really, to me, it doesn't matter what race you are. Like, it's not, do-rags aren't fit to one race. It's you know, to protect your hair when you're sleeping. You know what I mean? Like, when you go to bed, if you got cornrows, like, yeah, put your do-rag on so it don't mess up, and then in the morning it still look good, you know? You just pay for them. I get that. It was the fact that he was wearing it all day, every day. Like, you didn't even see the braids because he always had this do-rag on. And his whole, like, the problem for me was that his whole personality, everything changed once he put on. Like, it was comedy to me because he would wear this do-rag and he would start talking different. Like, he would start talking with more of a heavier accent, which he didn't have. You're from Jersey. You don't have this hood accent. Like, he would act so hood and like say all this stuff. And I told him, like, I was laughing at him and he was like, what's funny? Like, what's funny? And I was like, I honestly just can't take you seriously with that do-rag on. Like, why are you acting like that? And he was like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, you know, like, it's just a do-rag. Like, I don't want my braids to get messed up, like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, for at night, but it's the middle of the day. Like, you're not rubbing against something. Like, why are you walking around with this do-rag and now all of a sudden you say the N-word too? Like, this is weird. Like, mind you, the whole time that we have been talking, he wasn't just, like, saying the N-word like that. Like, it was when he put on that do-rag, he just started saying the N-word. And, like, obviously, I probably just didn't know that he talked like that. Like, he probably kind of kept it from me, and then he started to get more comfortable or what. He thought he was that, so he started saying it or something. But I was just like, and why are you saying the N-word? Like, you're white. Like, you know you're white, right? Like, you remember that you're white, right? Like, the do-rag doesn't make you black. Like, and he was so offended. Like, I grew up around black people. Like, black people like me. Like, black people like me. Like, they invite me to stuff, and I was just like, so this where we gonna have to cut this off because what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? So he had to leave. Like, he was gonna go on the road to like go on this trip. I had to go stay with my homegirl because we had the studio. So I was in a girl group at the time. So me and all my girls were gonna go stay at our friend's house and go to the studio. And like, so we both had things going on. I had told him, like, you sound stupid, you look stupid, like, this is funny, like, you're acting like a clown, like, literally. I told him that. He was so offended, whatever, we got off the phone. But we hadn't, like, fully, like, ended anything. Mind you, y'all, this whole time, I want to say we have been talking for a good, like, 2 months, maybe a month, like a month and a half, right? And so we had already been planning to see each other when our birthdays were coming up, and, like, spend our birthdays together. And so we had been planning that over this time, like, during all this is happening, we brought it up, we had been planning it, he was gonna come out here, and we were gonna, like, see each other. Mind you, like, this whole time that he was, you know, gonna come out here, he's talking about us getting a room together or getting an Airbnb together, and I'm just like, I'm not staying in no Airbnb with you. First of all, that'll be my first time meeting you in person, first of all. Second of all, my mama ain't gonna let me do that. My mom is not gonna let me do that. Third of all, like, I don't want to. Like, I don't want to. I don't know you. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, and as time went on and I'm finding out all this stuff that I just told y'all, like, it was even more like I don't even want to meet him. Like, genuinely, like, how do I cut this off? The main reason why I prolonged cutting him off is because he had already paid for an Airbnb. Like, he paid for it to go to stay at. He knew where he was staying. And, you know, he was kind of like trying to convince me to stay with him. And I was just like, no, like he was really trying to pressure me to stay with him. And I was like, no. I was like, I'll get a hotel with my friends and, you know, me and you can hang out. But like, I'm not gonna stay with you. And so he was like, well, then I should not even come. Like, he would say stuff like, well, then I'm just not going to really come for that long if you're not going to stay with me. Like, why would I come for 3 days if I'm not even going to be with you all the time? I was like, we going to spend the days together, but I'm not finna sleep in your room with you. Like, that's the only time we're not going to be together. Like, you know what I mean? And that was a red flag, too, because you know what you was trying to do. Like, you're being weird. You know what I mean? And so I was like, no. So then he was like, okay, fine. I'll send you money to like get a hotel room, whatever. I'm gonna send you money and you and your friends could stay and we'll hang out, whatever. Because he said his brother was gonna end up coming with him too. So I didn't want to be with him and his brother. And so, so he had sent me like $200 for me and my friends to get this room or whatever. And I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, if you paying for it, like, okay. So that was kind of why I like didn't completely cut him off, because I felt bad because he had already paid for an Airbnb and he had paid for my room, like all this stuff, you know. So I felt bad. You know, I had, like I said, I was staying with my friend. We had to go to the studio after me and him got in that argument. And the next day, me and him are texting, and I'm driving to the studio, and he tells me that his friends was doing like crap, and he was doing Adderall. He was like, yeah, you know, my friends was like doing crap, but I think I'm gonna do something because I don't want to do, because I used to be addicted to it. I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. You, what? Because you never told me about this. Like, you never told me that. Like, and he was like, yeah, like, I don't really mess with, because, you know, after me and my ex broke up, like, I got so addicted to it, like, and I'm just sitting there like, y'all, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Like, I'm just like, oh no, like, you're really different. So that's like really when I decided, like, yeah, I'm not meeting him. I'm finna cut him off. Like, now it was just a matter of how am I gonna cut him off, because I know he's finna be mad. Like, how am I gonna do this in the most confrontational way, you know? After the studio, I'm like driving home and I'm texting him and I'm like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. I was just kind of like, I don't think it'll work. Like, you know, I don't really feel comfortable like getting a room, and like, you know, I don't really know you like that. Like, I was kind of doing that. And he was like, Paris, you need to just be real. You don't want to talk to me. You're mad because I say the N-word, because I say and said it. And again, like, said it. And I have a voice recording of him legit saying it, like, literally. And I was just like, well, yeah, that too. And you also do drugs. Like, you was addicted to, like, and your friends be doing, Ali did it too. You over here doing all these drugs and stuff. Like, I don't want to be with somebody like that. Like, that's not me. That's not cool to me. That's not normal for me. Like, if you wanna be a white boy doing drugs and saying the N-word, don't be with a black girl. Like, we don't mess with that. Like, be with a white girl that's cool with that, who wanna be black too. Like, I don't know, but this is not gonna work. Like, no. And so it was just a bad argument. Like, it was bad, y'all. And I was honestly being so funny. Like, I told him, I was like, honestly, like, I should have talked to your brother. Like, he was cute. I was like, honestly, I should have talked to your brother. Like, he was cuter and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, all this stuff. Like, I was going in because he was being rude. Like, and it was just so ignorant to me that you're trying to convince me that you could say the N-word and that I'm overreacting and that there's nothing wrong with you. Like, there's a lot wrong with you. You need help. You need therapy. You need rehab. You need help. Like, you need new friends. Like, something is for real wrong with you. He was mad and he was like, well, you need to send me my $200 back, blah, blah, blah. Mind you, he talking about how he make all this money, but he wanted that little $200 back. I sent it back, but, like, still to this day, I'm like, I should have kept it. Like, I really could have just blocked him and just never talked to him again. Like, why would I give $200 back to this boy who is disrespectful and be saying the N-word, like, and don't care? Like, I should have kept it. I very much should have kept it. For what I went through and had to deal with, I should have kept that $200. But I was being nice and I gave it back. And you know what? I'll never do it again. I'll never do it again. Yeah, that was that story. I still don't know what I'm gonna call it. Y'all put y'all titles of what you think the title should have been in the comments. I feel like that would be really funny. Y'all tell me what you would want the title of this video to be. Obviously there'll be a title, but y'all put what it should have been. And y'all be careful when you meet people on Omegle or online, because people, they lie, especially guys. Like they be lying. They will lie about a lot of things and you really don't know who they are. If you're meeting someone online, do not meet up with them. Do not meet up with them. And just be careful, because people are crazy. Like, no, who knows what would have happened if I actually met up with him or stayed with him in a hotel. Like, who knows what would have happened. Like, he was very content on trying to get me to stay with him. Who knows what could have happened. Like, I don't know that man. So be careful. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time, and I will see y'all in the next one. Let me know what videos you guys want to see next, like really, because I need new ideas. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video. Follow me on Instagram, it's right here. And yeah, I love you guys. Bye.